Hey, good morning. Good morning, Coach Micheal Burt. It is 6:04 a.m. on Tuesday morning. Hope you're doing great. Drug my big booty out of bed at about 4:30 this morning to get into the gym to get a good workout in. I believe everybody needs a coach. I believe a good coach can change your life. I believe those that have a coach always outperform those that don't. And a lot of people may not understand what a coach does for a person. And they actually see coaching as a sign of weakness. And my whole life I've been in coaching programs, right? When I was 25 years old, when I was 18 years old, Philip Richards, I used to go to coaching clinics as a basketball coach and study under great coaches. And then I studied under Dr. Stephen Covey, who wrote The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. It's really what turned me on to personal development. And then when I was 25, 26, I started going to more personal development seminars and coaching seminars and getting coached. And it was really a coach who taught me how to run a small business because I was a basketball coach. And I went to a 3-day event called Achiever Circle with a guy named Mark LeBlanc, Brock Zavan, and he exposed me to how to run a small business, how to go out and generate revenue, how to create a selling system, how to follow up, how to pursue something. And it was really, this is what we're going to talk about today, it was really being in the room with people who were pros that taught me how to be a pro, right? And I think a lot of people operate in a world where they don't even know there's a better way. They don't know what they don't know. Maya Angelou always said, when we know better, we do better. But we can't do better until we know better. And so I just think about all the people who struggle unnecessarily because they don't ever get around a pro. They don't ever really see what it means, not just to work hard, but to create a work ethic, but to show up every day when they don't feel like it, when, how they follow up, how they communicate. Like, it is worth your time and energy, right, Mark, to get around people who have made a decision to go pro in their life. And what a lot of people do is they look at people who have gone pro, or they look at the fruits of the people who have gone pro. Like, they say, well, they're driving nice cars and they're living in nice houses and they're vacationing in cool places, and I'd like to do all those things. But they never really take time to step back and go, what are they doing? What decisions have they made? What sacrifices have they made? Freddie Blanton, what work ethic do they have? Who do they get around? How do they communicate? See, the topic of today's Tuesday Rhythm is, what does it really take to go pro? And there's various levels of going pro. I remember asking Cardone in an interview, or maybe personally, I don't remember, what's the difference between a millionaire and a multimillionaire? And he said, we talking about between 1 and 2? Or are we talking about between 1 and 20? Because there's very little difference between 1 and 2. There's a lot of difference between 1 and 20. And so what I observe is that people don't know what it means to go pro because they never really get in the presence of people who operate at a pro level, right? And so for whatever reason, they won't invest the time, they won't invest the money, they won't invest the energy. And so we just kind of, we live in a world where we don't know how to go pro. We don't know what it takes. Like, I'm going through this book launch, and I think we're at about 3,800 copies, maybe getting close to 4,000 units sold. And you say, well, that doesn't seem like very many. And I would say, well, you go out and try to sell pre-sell 4,000 copies of a book and tell me how many you think it is, right? Like it's easy to be critical of people until you try to do what they're doing. And 90% of all books will never sell more than 500 copies. So to pre-sell 4,000 and probably, try to get to 10,000 before the book releases in January 31st, Daniel Hodges, takes a major commitment, takes daily consistency. It takes having a real message. It takes being willing to try anything. It takes sucking it up. And, yesterday I was doing TV shows, and it takes doing a lot of things you don't want to do. Okay. And that's really the sign, in my opinion, of a pro. Because if you, in the new book, Flip the Switch, I go through pretenders and contenders, talk about the habits of the top 1%, because that's really a deep passion of mine, studying what the best people do. And one of my favorite brand, Hollywood, is man, they have the ability to lock in The pro has the ability to lock in, not become distracted, set a target, and move toward that target with a persistence and intensity. And they just know how to fight through their feelings, man. At the end of the day, they just know how to fight through their feelings. And what they really know, Steve, is how to just keep showing up. And through the process of showing up, they get better and better and better and better. They get more refined and more refined and more refined. They crystallize their clarity and calling. They know exactly what they're good at. They know exactly how their talent solves a problem for other people. But the act of going pro is really, more than anything, a simple decision to leave an amateur desire behind and then back that new desire up with commitment, right, Steve? So it's really making a decision. That means to cut something away. And it's typically your feelings, it's typically something, it's typically your whatever. And then backing that commitment up with time and money and energy. Now, make a decision on which one of those things you're not willing to sacrifice. You don't want to put any time into it. You don't want to put any money into it. You don't want to put any commitment into it. A commitment is not a commitment unless it's backed up by time and money and energy. Okay? Now, just remember that, because a lot of people say, well, I want to get better, but I don't want to invest any money in getting better. Well, I can't get the result I want, but I don't want to go to a workshop or seminar. Or I see them getting that kind of result, but they got to be doing something, right? Other than just getting up and working every day, man. Just instilling a good old-fashioned work ethic, a prey drive in pursuing talent, potential, opportunity, and they just keep coming, man. The pros just keep coming. You can't knock them down. They just keep coming. So this is a decision you got to make, right? I'm in this 5-day challenge, 5-day prey drive challenge every day at noon. We had roughly 110 people on there yesterday. So every day at noon, I'm doing prey drive, 5-day prey drive challenge. Part of me doing 5 days just to show you how to show up every day, because it's going to come at 12 and you're going to be like, I'd rather go to Burger King, right, versus do this. At some point, you got to leave your amateur desires behind and you got to make a decision to go pro. And when you go pro in the body, that's physical. It's very hard for people. You go pro in the mind, that's mental. You go pro in the heart. You go pro in the spirit. All right? So let's go pro today. Thank you to all the people who are buying the book. Chad Wood, good morning. January 13th, big event, Activate. January 13th, big event, Activate. I expect to have over 1,000 people on there virtually, about to go into heavy promotions for that. And I'm going to show everybody how to activate and reactivate that prey drive every day, Belinda, even when you don't feel like it. Because Coach don't feel like it every day either. Right? Yesterday they called me and said, can you be on this TV show at 4 o'clock to promote the show? It's an hour. It's after a long day. I'm like, what's my B? My B's a Wall Street Journal bestseller. My B is greater than where I'm at right now. Right? I'm at A. I'm trying to get to B. What am I willing to do to get there? What are you willing to do to get there? That's really the question you got to ask. And you got to back that up with time and energy and money. If you're not getting the results you want, what are you willing to sacrifice to put in something to be able to get the outputs that you want? So if you missed this, go back and watch it. It's how to go pro. What does it take to really go pro? First step is get around a pro, watch a pro, observe a pro, work with a pro. The first step, which is what I did when I was 15 years old, Leadership Academy, Broy Hill Leadership Academy. Okay, turned me on to leadership. 18 years old, started going to coaching clinics. Don Meyer, great coach in Nashville. Started studying Covey 18 to 25. 25, 26, got in a room with a guy named Mark LeBlanc. Achievers Circle taught me how to sell coaching, or gave me a blueprint for selling. Then it's just like, man, let's just keep showing up. Okay, then along the way, got in Strategic Coach. Then met some of the biggest people in the world. Worked under them, became friends with them. Still bought their products and services, by the way, while I was friends with them. And then just kept going, right? Learned how to build a Wall Street Journal bestseller by spending the $14,000 to spend 3 or 4 hours with Roy Vaden. Like, if you're not willing to do these things, then you're really not willing to go pro. Okay, you could talk about it all day long, but the truth is, you're just not ready to go pro. And some people are operating at a level, and they think they're at a pro level, but they're really not. All of us, there's another level, man. And there's a humility of trying to show up, James Garcia, and watch and observe the pros and go, you know what, I need to get better at this and this and this and this and this, and maybe this is why I'm not making the pro money yet. Okay, and there's still amateur desires and amateur decisions that I'm making, okay? And we all have those, by the way. So, love you, appreciate you. Everybody needs a coach. Pray Drive Challenge every day at noon. Let's get in there and let's go, folks. It's early morning, but we're up and we're rolling, okay? Let's have a great day.